So this was a long-awaited episode. I've had so many people comment, message, DM, mother-in-laws, bring them on. So I posed it to the people. I said, you guys, this is your time to fucking shine.
Yep.
Send me your mother-in-law or crazy mom stories. And the people did not disappoint.
They did not relent.
They did not disappoint. We even had one of our very own friends. So we'll start with that. We have our friend Whitney who wrote in. She goes, my ex's mom said, let's grab some food together at a baseball game once. And while we were waiting in line, she looked dead into my soul and said, I see right through you, and you have a lot of baggage. Then was psycho mean to me the rest of the time we dated.
Oof, God, that sucks. Well, the relationship didn't work out, and
Ex for a reason.
yes, there you go. But that's like what you see in movies.
Yeah.
Where people say, I see right through you, and they barely know you, and you're like, ooh, okay.
Like, excuse me.
Right. And Whitney's a
Okay.
great person.
Whitney is just
She's
like,
not somebody with ulterior motives.
no. And doesn't everyone have baggage?
Yeah.
Like, everyone has experienced some trauma in one way or another.
Yeah. And why?
What makes you better?
Right. Why are you holding that against somebody?
I see right through you. It's very ominous. Ominous?
Yeah. I don't know what that
Whatever
word
that word is. It is a word, but I'm probably I'm butchering it.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
This next listener writes in, my mother-in-law invited my fiance's ex to our wedding shower, wedding, and more.
What? Is it a what?
So I ask her, I go, okay, going to need more on this. How the heck did she get away with inviting the ex to your wedding? She goes, she sabotaged every part of our wedding she could get her hands on. Okay, so I got engaged when I was 24 to my boyfriend at the time who was 22. We were on the same page about so many important things like our life goals, faith, etc. And we're so excited to spend our lives together. The only time we started fighting was when his ex-girlfriend came into the picture. A few months before our wedding, she posted a picture to Facebook of them at prom and wrote a caption about how he's her best friend and how much she loves him. And tagged him in it. Then I found out she was still talking to his family all the time and saw them regularly. To be fair, he's from a small town in Michigan and they went to the same church and we were living in Chicago at the time. I told him it made me a little uncomfortable, and when he told me she had been invited to our wedding, I got really frustrated. He talked to his mom about it and his mom swore she understood and that she was sorry. The next day, she invited the ex to our wedding shower. When I talked to his mom, she just said, oh, I didn't mean anything by it. Keep in mind, 12 hours earlier, my fiance had just told her how hurt I was. Fast forward to the wedding, a couple of months later, we had gotten a beautiful crystal cake stand from a family friend, and his mom said that she had a lot of experience making wedding cakes, so she should make ours. I gave her the measurements, and she sent pictures of the round cake she would make that fit on the stand. She showed up the day before the wedding with the exact opposite, a long rectangle cake that looked like a 5-year-old made it, and just shrugged her shoulders. We had the wedding in my mom's backyard in a wooded area and had to do the set up ourselves. His family said they would come and help, but instead they showed up right as I was getting my dress on, not even dressed for the wedding.
Wow.
They then proceeded to go into my mom's room while I was in the bathroom and shut me out of it. This was the room I was getting ready in. I knocked on the door to see if, I don't know, I could finish getting ready in the few minutes before my wedding. When they finally came out after they got themselves ready, they just looked at me in my wedding dress and walked past me without saying a word. At the end of the night, his sister was supposed to give us a ride to our hotel. And about 10 minutes into the reception, she told us, it's time to go. And when we didn't leave, she left us. Luckily, we found another sober ride to our hotel. I could go on and on about what else happened with my in-laws, but that's the story of our wedding.
Oh my gosh. I'm screaming inside.
The fucking, not even microaggressions, the aggressions.
Wow. To walk past somebody in their wedding dress
while they've been knocking on the door, trying to get into the room that you're in to get ready.
and not even say, you look beautiful. Like, do you need help?
Assholes.
I honestly, this sounds so dramatic, but I would, in that moment, be like, am I marrying into the wrong family?
Yeah.
It's hard not to think that way.
Yeah.
It's hard because you don't want to hold it against your fiance. But honestly, there's been instances in the past where family things happen and I'm like, do I want to marry into this family?
Yeah.
That's insane to me. I don't even know where to start. All of it. All of it sucked.
And I wanted to say like, oh, I think everyone has at least one time when they've experienced that, but no, like I think there are people that like truly really, really, really get lucky in the relationship department, but like I've been there. Like there's just some family drama where you're like, okay, like, whoa.
Well, what did she do I know maybe she didn't do anything at all, but it's sounding like they really have a vendetta against her and they don't like her.
Maybe she's just not the ex.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
She pulled their golden boy away to the big city.
Ugh, what?
People from small towns get goofy like that. They want their kid to marry the high school sweetheart so they don't move away.
Good luck, sweetheart. That's what you want for life? Great. But if it's not, support it. Like,
this is your kid.
Yeah.
Like you should raise your kid to be happy and healthy and their own independent person.
Exactly. And treating someone like that, what does that get you? If you don't, you're at the wedding day. It's happening. It's happening. Like, go through with it. Put a smile on your face. Be positive. Be friendly. Be loving. Whether you like it or not, this wedding is happening. We're already here.
You're here.
You're in the 11th hour. Like, why are you going to throw a tantrum now? Like, just make it a pleasant day for everybody. If the relationship doesn't work out in the future, okay. But to treat somebody like that, does that really make you feel better about somebody who's about to marry into your family?
No. And you're going to get your grandchildren privileges revoked if they ever have any.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Like you're creating such a toxic environment for your son in that case.
Yeah,
and
you're
kid,
not going to want to come visit back. You're not going to want to go back to Michigan to visit the family.
No.
When that's how you get treated.
Yeah.
Hell no.
When you like manipulate your kids or emotionally abuse them or just try to control their lives in ways like this, or you're mean to their partner, or you cause them stress when they visit, they don't want to keep coming back. Mm-hmm. You are making that relationship more difficult for yourselves.
Yeah.
By acting that way.
You say kiss goodbye to your son at that point because he's going to stay in Chicago. Chicago, is it? Mm-hmm. He's going to stay there with his lovely new wife.
So I've got 2 emailed listener write-ins.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
People.
The listeners showed up.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this.
So many.
Like I didn't realize this was such
a hot topic.
I knew it was going to be a popular topic, but I didn't realize like so many listeners would have so much personal experience.
And be willing to share it. Mm-hmm. Because these are things that are not always easy to talk about, you know?
Not at all. So, your favorite topic, weddings. This listener goes, my mother-in-law has been married twice and has the dresses from both. She offered me either dress, to which I declined with, thank you, but I already got mine with my mom. But thank you so much for the offer. Her response, loud sigh. Thank goodness. There probably isn't enough lace to let them out for you anyway.
What does that mean? Like
she's too big for the dresses. Essentially like body shaming her.
Oh. That's straight up being mean for no reason.
Why?
You could have just been like, got it.
Move on. Yeah. My response, well, I'm just not as athletic as you are. I then took my husband, left, and cried in the car privately. LOL. Oh. But wait, it gets worse.
Oh no.
So my at the time fiance and I waited 2 years for his sister to pick a wedding date from her engagement. She didn't, and we picked ours 15 months out. That was very, very generous.
Yeah. What?
As soon as we announced our date, she decided she has to get married first, and it will be a destination wedding in 3 months. Now, I was happy for my soon-to-be sister-in-law and tried again to bond with my mother-in-law by offering to take her dress shopping and even paying for the dress that is intended for our wedding. She says, oh, I already have my dresses. I'll hem up my wedding dresses and dye them in the bathtub. I'll wear my first wedding dress to yours and my second to sister-in-law's. That dress symbolizes my happier marriage anyways. It will be perfect.
So the happier marriage goes to the sister?
Yeah.
People like this just absolutely make me irate. Like, why? I don't get it.
Gets worse.
Just stop. Okay.
OP goes, no, you will be escorted out of mine if you show up in your divorced wedding dress. She then tells me I'm a diva and that my wedding to her son really isn't important anyways.
Okay, bummer. Then you can see yourself out.
We don't see her much, and we are almost 1 year married now. Side note, my husband did support me and said something to mother-in-law as he was hurt by it too. She said she just wants the dresses to have a second use, where he then suggested she made she get them made into baptismal or burial dresses for infants. There are several charities that do this, which is a great idea.
Yeah, that's genius. That person, this mother-in-law, is so unhappy with herself. It's pretty loud and clear that she's so upset that her wedding's failed, or I should say her marriage has failed. It sounds like maybe the first marriage she was widowed.
No, I think divorced.
They're
But
both
I think
divorced?
she's still with the second husband. But like,
Oh, so wait, the second husband
is the happier dress. That's why she was
Got
like,
it.
I'll wear happier marriage.
Okay, got it.
She doesn't specify if she's divorced or anything, but like,
Okay, well,
still.
it sounds like you're resentful that something didn't pan out for you the way you wanted it to, and now
Yeah.
you feel so, I don't know, obliged to take down your future daughter-in-law for no good reason.
Yeah.
Other than pure spite. Because, okay, let's just say she's not your cup of tea. Not everybody vibes. Like, you could have a
Yeah.
pretty decent mother-in-law, but she's just not your cup of tea.
Your personalities are different.
Yeah, or you could think of yourself as a pretty good daughter-in-law, but your mother-in-law and you don't connect very well, and that's fine. But to go off and make those like terrible comments, like, well, you wouldn't fit in it anyway, and your wedding's not that important to me, and thank God because you're too big for these dresses. Those are just hateful comments for no reason.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a toxic mom.
That's a toxic, and it's a very unhappy, unpleasant person.
Yeah. No, she's definitely like projecting her own fucking unhappiness. But one last listener write-in, which is perfect for our first Reddit story.
Okay.
It leads in very well.
Perfect. We love a little transition.
My husband and I are expecting our first child in a few weeks. We recently went to a wedding for a family friend where my mother-in-law kept introducing us to people. Each time she'd say the following: "This is my son, and this is my daughter-in-law, and this," pointing at my belly, "is my baby." This happened 3 separate times. I have a good relationship with my mother-in-law, but it bothered me that she seems to think our baby is hers. She did her work 28 years ago when she had my husband. She hasn't contributed at all by creating this child. Based on how she's acting, I'm honestly afraid of the shell shock she will have when she realizes her role as a grandmother is a lot different than her role as a mother was.
Yeah, this is a write-in. Mm-hmm. I think that's worth having a conversation. Why hasn't the husband/son pulled his mom aside and been like, "Hey,
It's a little uncomfy.
I need you to tell me that this is our baby."
Yeah.
Like, you might be joking, maybe you're just really excited, but I need you to acknowledge that this is actually not your baby. Mm-hmm. Like, why hasn't that conversation happened?
I don't know. I think that's like it definitely something that needs to happen. There is another Reddit story that I've seen that kind of isn't the one I'm going to read, but is very eerily similar. And it's about this woman who her dad remarried to her stepmom. Mm-hmm. Stepmom couldn't have children. And so when the daughter had her baby, the stepmom literally tried to kidnap it.
Oh, that's like a Lifetime Network movie.
It was the creepiest story, and it was very eerie. And like I think I have it saved for like the like scary stories one.
Oof.
But it was like oh, there were warning signs where she'd be like, "My baby,
Ugh.
oh my baby," and it's kind of this vibe where
Yes.
it's like, okay, but like if you were saying, "Oh, and this is my grandbaby,"
Yes.
it's a little different
Totally.
versus like my baby.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like obviously maybe pregnancy hormones, she's overanalyzing things.
Yeah.
And me, I'm like, okay, am I overanalyzing this? Because language is so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had this discussion a lot with like life situations we have where people will use like certain language. And it's like one word, like leaving out a word or adding a word changes the conversation so much.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
it's like, it just makes me uncomfy.
Yeah, it's uncomfy. I think it's worth telling the mother-in-law that you feel uncomfy.
Definitely.
And maybe it'll be, I don't know, we don't know enough, but maybe the mother-in-law will be like, of course I know this is your baby.
Duh.
I just call it my baby because I'm so excited. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be a crazy situation where she's like possessive,
Yeah.
but you just don't know.
You don't.
It is very strange and it's very uncomfy. And I don't like it.